So let's start. So my name is Nick. Nice to meet everyone. I'm from OneInch. I'm backend team lead. So I just want to share some vision about OneInch API and OneInch limit order API to tell you a bit about OneInch as well. So let's start from OneInch. If you're not familiar about OneInch, it's a leading DEX aggregator on the market. If you want to swap some tokens to any other token, it's one of the best places where you can do this, actually. It's very gas optimized. We support multiple EVM networks, like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Avalanche, Gnosis Chain, Phantom, Arbitrum, Optimism, most of them. And the most awesome thing about OneInch that we allow you to swap any token to any other token using our algo that allows you to split your amount into multiple paths. And that's how we get the best rate, actually. So I want to start from OneInch Swap API, and that's the basic idea how it works. Basically, you need to build some data. I will tell you a bit more about this data. And you have two handles. You use actually our API for that. The first handle is called quote. So it returns a quote. The quote consists of swap amount that you will get from the source token. And if you're OK with this quote, you basically continue, and you need to call another handle called swap. And this handle actually returns specific call data that you need to pass to OneInch router. It's like a smart contract. That's it. Basically, everything that you need to do is firstly get quote, and if you're OK with that, just get some call data to build a transaction. So it consists of two handles.
The only on-chain part is going to the router there?
Yeah.
Is off-chain?
Yeah, everything is off-chain, and the only on-chain part is when you do execute transaction on OneInch router. That's it. Okay. And we just built everything for you, so you just need to call OneInch router with this call data, and that's it. Basically, it looks like that. There is two handles that you need for almost everything. Let's actually take a look more about it. You can open oneinch.io. See the docs. Hope the internet will be pretty fast for that. Yeah, it looks like it's loading. Yeah, and you just need API for aggregation protocol. Actually, I do recommend, if you want to get familiar with OneInch, you can just visit our documentation. It's pretty well written. Yeah, sorry for that. We'll try to load API. I'll try to use my own internet, I think.
Yeah, it's loading for me on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, for me too. I recommend you use this other Wi-Fi as well.
I just use my own. That's okay.
And they have the Wi-Fi for this room, right?
That's this one.
Yeah, so basically, the most important handles that you need is these two handles. I just want to talk a bit about inside parameters that you need to understand in these handles. So the basic ones are that are required is actually from token address and to token address. That's basic, like that's the tokens you want to swap. We do support only one token to one token swap right now. So if you want to swap like multiple of them, you need to make a couple of swaps. So also there is amount from token address that you actually, this amount is, you need to do it without precision. So it's like the raw amount of the token. And basically that's it that you need to make a default quote. There are some other parameters that you possibly will need if you will customize it for your app. The first one is protocols. And basically, we do support about 77 protocols in our API. Sometimes you need only some specific of them. And if you want to specify the protocols, you can pass it here. Also, we have a fee. We do a referral program, and if you have your app and you have a referral address, you can specify the fee for each swap. it can be up to 3%, depends on the up to you. So basically, you need to pass the fee if you want. By default, it's 0. You also need sometimes gas limit, so it's obvious. It depends on the gas limit. We can optimize your road path. There is also parameter called connector tokens. Basically, connector tokens, it's something I will show you, something like this. Let's just launch the app. It will be the best way how we can see it. So connector tokens here for the swap from Ethereum to DAI is USDT and USDC. So basically, you can specify multiple of them. It depends on your case. So sometimes when your path to token is not have a lot of liquidity, it will be more useful to specify specific token that have liquidity. So we'll get more join amount in some cases. Also, there is a complexity level, main road parts, and parts. I will show you on the app what is it basically. You can specify all of these parameters from minimum to maximum. By default, it's pretty okay, but sometimes you need to specify, like to make it lower, for example. So complexity level here, for example, is 1, 2. So you basically have this level and this level of complexity right now. If you will have more Ethereum, it can be deeper sometimes. And for example, in this path, we have also main road parts. Main road parts here is free. It's like this one, and this one. And also we have parts. Inside each part, we have inside parts. You can also specify all of them. Basically, why we need sometimes to pass specific parameters here is for the gas optimization. In some cases, the less parts you have, the less gas you will spend. So it depends on the amount that you're actually swapping. Let's continue. And also you have the gas price as usual. It depends on the gas price. We can estimate the transaction for you. So basically, if you will call our API, let's just do this. So you got a response. So like from token amount to token amount, and you'll get information how much you will get, which protocols do we have, and which gas we estimated. If you're okay, for example, with this, you need to make a new quote, but not for this hook, but for this one. It's called swap. It's pretty the same data as in previous one, but there are some additional things that you need to fill. The first one is from address. Basically, that means that each smart contract can be called not only by default account on Ethereum, but any other smart contract. So basically, you can pass the data, the swap data, not only for user, but for any other smart contract that needs it to make a swap. So you need to pass this address here if you're calling it from another contract. You also can pass the slippage. It's absolutely important part of any swap. So you can pass the maximum slippage that will be in the transaction. For example, let's show it on the screen. For example, in these terms, I can specify the slippage. It will be like 1%. So the price can go down up to 1% in this swap. So if sometimes there are some tokens where slippage is very high by default, and you have no choice but to pick it to make it up to a couple of percents. But pay attention that as much as if you will get very high slippage, you can lose a lot of money in these terms. Like for example, if you will pass slippage like 50%, you can lose up to 50% down. Like okay, let it be 49.
Will people see that and sandwich attack you if your slippage is high?
Yeah, it can be like this.
So it can be okay.
If you have very high slippage, I do recommend to use something like flash bots, for example, so you will be protected from sandwich attacks. Kind of that, yeah. I do not recommend to have slippage up to 1%, up than 1% if it's not some low liquidity tokens, because if you will have it, you can lose a lot of money. And also, I do not recommend sometimes to have it something like that, because if the slippage is too low, your transaction can be failed instantly, because the prices goes down or goes down too much, and that's it. So it depends on the case and depends on the market. Yeah. The best one, like the most useful, is like 1%. Usually it's okay. We also have protocols. We already discussed what is it. It's pretty the same. We also allow you to pass destination receiver. So for example, if somebody else, if you want to swap from one wallet and to get your assets to another wallet, you can pass destination receiver address here. And also we have referrer address. It's basically, as I told you, it's the referrer. For example, if you are integrating Valinci API to some wallet, you can pass wallet address, and all the fees will go to this address. You still need to specify fee, as the previous quote. And there is one interesting thing, this handle called disable estimate. It's pretty useful sometimes when you are doing something with smart contracts, when the swap will be executed through another smart contract. Sometimes you need to disable estimates, because if you will not do this, you will not get a return amount. You will not get response. We also allow you to pass permit. So basically, sometimes it's useful for gasless approves on some tokens. P actually is deprecated, so you cannot use this token. Right now it's just false. Allow partial fill handle allows you to basically to ensure that at least some of the transaction will be swapped. There are some cases, for example, in this case, sometimes it can be executed only in 90% part, like this part, this road, and maybe like a couple of these rows will be executed, but not all of them. If it happens by default, it will be if you allow partial fill, it will be okay. So basically, just some of it will be filled, and everything else will be returned to your original wallet. So it depends on the case how you need to integrate your API. So parts, main node parts, connector tokens, we already described. I already described all of that. So basically, that's it. That's you need for this handle. And after you call this handle with the call data, you basically just need to execute it on Valinci router API. Like you use Valinci router on others, like on the blockchain, on Ethereum or any other chain. So you just need to pass it on the transaction, to build a transaction and execute it.
So for the gas price, is there? I don't see a tip category there. Like, is it not EIP 1559? Like base fee plus tip. Why is it only one?
We do support right now the latest. Yeah, we need to update a bit documentation, but right now we support the latest.
So it actually has two gas prices there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can actually, yeah.
Ask about API. Just have a question. Why it's made with just usual API? Why not with contracts? Like you ask contracts, pay their arguments, or?
What do you mean with the contracts? You mean smart contracts?
Yeah.
Basically because it's very hard to calculate. It's actually to build paths like that. Actually, it's a lot of calculation. And it's almost impossible to make such thing using smart contract, because it will be too expensive in terms of calculations. And the only way how it can be built, actually, it's using backend side. We have very advanced algo that actually is one of the best in the market. So it's almost impossible to do something like that on the front-end side, and especially on the EVM side. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, if you're okay, let's continue with our limit order API. Actually, Valinci have multiple protocols. The first one is aggregation protocol. It's here, and we do also support limit orders. Actually, in limit orders, you can specify the price that you need. For example, to sell wrapped Ethereum to DAI. The most awesome part of it is that actually you don't need to pay gas for it. So just sign the order that you're okay with this price, for example. You can specify some parameters. For example, you can specify the rate. Let it be like something higher, for example, like this. Like plus 20%, and it will be expired like in 3 days. So basically, when I will sign it, until the end of the third day, anyone can fill this order with this rate. Anyone can get my wrapped Ethereum and give me some DAI in this rate. Yeah, that's it. Basically, and I don't need to pay some gas for this transaction, for this order. So there are multiple features in this limit order. Basically, you have conditional execution. You actually can specify some additional things that you need to in your order. For example, you can specify if Ethereum price is like, you can only specify the rate, exchange rate, but any custom condition. For example, I want to specify that link price must be more than $10. Only if it's more than $10, my order will be valid, for example. You can actually build any condition on it. We also have callbacks. So for example, you can make a callback when the order will be executed. For example, you can store your stablecoin in some compound, and only when limit order will be executed, there will be callback that withdraw all your liquidity from compound and execute your order. So it's pretty useful sometimes. Yeah, and you can actually use any formula for the rates. So it's customizable functions. You can build any of it for any amount. You can make a price auction based on it, for example. Basically, how it works. There are like two parties here. It's like market maker and market taker. The market maker is the person who actually creates an order, wants to get something. And market taker is the person who actually fill this order. So market taker always searching for some orders. So basically, most of the action happens off-chain. You have actually, market maker needs to sign and send order to some storage. It can be peer-to-peer storage. It can be any centralized storage. Doesn't matter, actually. So there is like a storage of all limit orders. We have API for all of these limit orders. So actually, you can grab any limit order or pass your own limit order via our API as well. So after market maker sign this order, that's it. You don't need to wait, do nothing from the market maker side. Just you can wait until it will be executed. From the market taker side, actually, you can specify, you can search for suitable limit orders. For example, let it be like this. Let it be, for example, I'm market maker, and right now I will make very strange order like this. I want to sell 5,000 wrapped Ethereum for 2 DAIs. So, and I will send it to the backend API. And market taker can actually found this limit order, and market taker can actually fill it. So if market taker will fill it, market taker can earn a lot of wrapped Ethereum just for free. So the main algo here is that you can search for all the limit orders that are suitable for you, that are profitable for you, and fill them. And we have open API for that. So basically, that's one of the main challenges in our current hackathon. So you can just implement market taker that will be it will be profitable for you. Basically, it's a profitable solution for you as well, and it's also very useful for our ecosystem because if you will fill all transactions that are suitable, we'll have much more liquidity for that for the limit order protocol.
The API is only going to 1 inch's order book, right?
Yeah.
Do we know of anyone else building their own order book anywhere? Or does that
I don't know. Actually, there are P2P order book as well, so you can make a limit order and share this order with anyone else without any centralized API. Right now, we also have the next challenge. Actually, it's a mesh network. We want to implement a mesh network for storing limit orders on multiple parties.
So would that be in parallel to the centralized one we have right now? There would be no shared liquidity. I guess people could arbitrage between them, right?
Yeah. They actually can sync it because it's all open data. You can just put all the data from API and share it with mesh network. Yeah.
I also think the title limit order is kind of strange for how they function because it doesn't really function like a traditional limit order, it seems.
Yeah.
Traditional limit order, if you really did say I want to sell 5,000 ETH for $2, someone would give you a way better price before it ever hit that, you know?
Yeah.
But with how this is kind of structured, it seems like you'd actually get $2, right?
Sure. You will not get something higher.
Okay.
So basically, that's the way how it works. You just specify the conditions. Actually, it's just something like off-chain conditions, market. you basically can specify a lot of conditions with multiple parameters, and anyone who is okay with these conditions can fill your order, and it will be executed.
Okay.
And most of the action happened off-chain. Yeah.
Question about market maker. Why there are some market makers who gonna sell like 5,000 Ethereum for 2 DAI? No, it's
And
like
it can be, it's usually doesn't look like that. Usually, for example, some guys can make, it's just mistake, for example. But usually, some,
1%, 2%.
let it be like the market rate, like this. So right now, the market rate is like this,
Yeah, yeah.
for example. But sometimes it can be actually, just let me update it. Yeah.
Is the price gonna be same like for some time?
Yeah,
If the price of Ethereum is changed?
yeah, you can earn on
this
it.
time-
Yeah, for example, I made order like that,
Yeah, that's cool.
and the price goes up, and my order is still active for like 3 days, and anyone who see that the price goes up can execute my order and earn some assets based on it, and I will be happy because my order is executed for some reason, and the person who will fill it will be happy. That's how it works.
So
Hey,
what gas costs are there when you create the order? In the first
There is-
place?
it's gasless.
You have to sign and give a token approval, maybe, right?
yeah, it depends. Usually, most of token supports permit. If the token supports permit, you can actually, it will be absolutely gasless.
Okay.
For example, for the DAI, you can actually execute DAI swap. Even if you don't have a proof, you can make a permit sign, and it will be free for you. So
Okay.
all the action from the market maker part will be absolutely gasless. Sometimes it's still not gasless because not all tokens supports permit.
Older ERC20 token.
Yeah. And because of that, sometimes you need gas for that, only for approve.
And then so the taker is the one paying the gas fees,
Yeah,
actually swapping.
yeah, that's
They
it.
they would factor that into whether or not it's worth it to take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need to calculate from a market taker side. You need to calculate how much gas you need to spend, and will it be profitable for you or not? So basically, it's like another market where you can try to compete for the best, for the most optimized order filling. And if you will be the best there, you will earn all the liquidity. You will be the best taker on this market.
Okay.
So yeah.
It seems, pretty profitable for the takers if they're doing it right.
Yeah, it's kind of arbitrage, but it's not arbitrage. You just actually provide liquidity for the protocol and helps to execute it on the market.
It'd be good for makers also.
Sure.
Airdrops, if they're farming airdrops and they have a bunch of tokens and wallets with no ETH and they want to dump them fast.
Yeah, it's just like liquidity. A lot of market takers allows to have a lot of liquidity from the market maker side for the Vonage network users.
Cool.
Yeah, usually it looks like that. So basically, let's continue. As you can see, when market taker got some order, market taker validated that it's okay, so it can be executed on the limit order side. And after that, you just need to call from the market maker's party. You just need to execute one function. It's called fill limit order. It's on-chain function that is available on Vonage limit order smart contract. So basically, the only part what is on-chain here is when you execute fill limit order on-chain. There is also one issue from the market maker side. If you will try, for example, to create an order, but after that you want to cancel it, yeah? For example, you are not okay with this price, like with this. Let it be like 1 million DAI for like 10,000 DAI for one header. Okay, I created it, but I'm not okay with that. I want to cancel it. The only way how you can cancel it is actually paying gas for that. So be pretty accurate when you when you're creating limit orders, because when it's on the network, the only way how you can cancel it is to pass some specific parameters on smart contracts, so invalidate it on smart contract side, because you can't delete this data in the network.
Yeah.
You can't invalidate it on the network. You need.
So is it actually using like a block stamp there?
It's called nonce, basically. Each account have a nonce.
Yeah.
Basically, if nonce goes up, it will invalidate all the nodes with the previous value. So basically, for example, I can create order like this, and the nonce will be like 1.
Like for when you were initially setting it up, the expires time, is that just a block stamp in the future, like a block?
Yeah, it block
It's a
timestamp.
specific block? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So basically it looks like that for creating limit orders for basic interactions. But it's much more than just that. I will just want to tell you about some specific details about smart contract and some features that limit order supports. Firstly, let's talk about order structure. It's basically pretty default. We have some sold that you need to calculate. You can use our documentation for that. Also, I do recommend to look at our tests in our GitHub. So it will be much more transparent for you. You'll see a lot of details there. Most of the basic use cases are there. So basically, the most important things here is actually maker asset data and taker asset data. It allows you to specify the information about the asset that you are transferring. So for example, you can actually use limit order to build some execution of not only ERC20 tokens, but any other token. For example, here NFT tokens, like here is 721, or kind of it. Also, you have getMaker and getTaker amount. That's basically the functions that you use to calculate the exchange rate. Depends on the internal parameters, and it can be very customizable. There is also predicate. Predicate allows you to specify some additional conditions. Depends on some cases of your limit order. For example, we use predicate for times constraint. For timestamp below, for example, it's the basic predicate that we use to make time limits for your order. We do also have permit and interaction. Interaction is a thing that allows you to actually make a callback. It will be executed before transfer from. You can call a specific function, and this function calls anything. So, for example, interaction can call something to withdraw your tokens, withdraw maker tokens from specific protocol to execute the swap. So basically, when you're creating limit order, you can do it via our SDK. Actually, we have SDK on the JavaScript to create limit order. You just basically create this structure, and you just need to store the structure somewhere. Basically, that's it. And when you execute it on the smart contract, you just need to pass most of these params on the smart contract.
So can a taker choose to give more? Like I guess the scenario I'm thinking of is two takers are trying to fill an order at the set, or is it makers or takers?
Takers is the person who fill the order.
Taker is the, okay, if two takers are trying to fill the same order at the same time, can they try to bid each other in the same block? One give an offer a better price and it will automatically go with that one, or how?
It depends on the gas. In these terms, it depends on the gas. Yes.
Not the quantity of tokens.
Yeah, because here there is like, usually you have, yeah, you have like price formula for the price. So usually it's pretty the same. It depends only on amount. Yeah. But when they're competing in the same block, it's only about the gas price.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The miners, basically.
Just in the docs, where's those tests?
The tests? You can, 1 second, you can just scan the latest GitHub. So basically there is a full directory called tests.
Okay. Left one?
Yeah, right one. So, 1 second, I think it's not, okay, I think it's a bit not so scaled on the monitor, but it looks okay. Basically, how we execute the order, we just need to to call this function, fill order, from market taker side. So basically, it's order structure, and we also do need a signature. Signature must be a signature of maker who signed this order. Actually, we use a function called sign type data v4 from the maker side. So you need to ensure that it's valid signature. There is also actually a pretty nice feature. You can actually pass not only sign type data signature, but any data if it's smart contract. Sometimes the maker can be not a person, but it can be some smart contract. So when it will be some smart contract, you need to pass something that allows your smart contract to verify this order on its side. So basically, this one smart contract can create this order, and we will just check, we will make a callback to the smart contract and check that this limit order is valid from smart contract side. So we just will make a call there for it. So signature can be even a real signature or some data for the smart contract. So basically, there is also three parameters: making amount, taking amount, and threshold amount. So basically, sometimes why do you need threshold amount? It's because limit order can basically fill it partially. You can fill it for 30% or for 100%. And if you need a specific amount in return, it will be the same price, but you need to specify min return. Because sometimes you're not okay if you will just fill a limit order for 2%. You need like at least 60%, for example.
When it fills 2%, does it close the rest of the order?
Yeah, if it's 100% it filled, yeah.
Okay. Oh, if it gets 100% filled?
Yeah, so for example.
So if you partially fill a limit order, will it still stay up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some multiple conditions. It can be different. It depends on the limit order type. We do support RFQ limit orders as well. It's a bit different. It's more suitable for the enterprise, for market makers, for example, like some private market makers who are doing that on the market. But basically, that's it. Yeah, it's pretty easy to fill order, and actually, we do also support all of that on our SDK in JavaScript. You can check the tests. You can just use our SDK. We have beautiful documentation about it, how you can fill limit order, and how you can actually specify some specific parameters based on JavaScript from the client side. Let's talk a bit about predicate. That's like some of the basic conditions that we use by default actually here. For example, nonce equals or timestamp below. What is it? For example, nonce equals allows you to cancel limit orders. For example, there is specific nonce. You can specify it for each limit order. If the nonce will be higher than this nonce, the predicate will be false. This condition will be false. So the order will be invalid. And the next condition that we use is, for example, timestamp below condition. So basically, that allows you to specify the timestamp in block when order will be valid or invalid. Actually, you can combine multiple predicates in one. So it actually is pretty customizable. You can combine all of them. We have functions like OR and some logic functions. So we basically can implement your own predicate. There's some examples on the documentation and GitHub. And basically, you can combine all of them for some reasons. We do also have getMaker and getTaker amount default functions. That's actually the basic formula that we use to calculate getMaker and getTaker amount when you execute the order. How much the taker will get, how much maker will get. And basically, you can just redefine them for your own. So sometimes it can be depends on the amount of the order or some kind of it. Yeah. So that's the way how actually it will be executed. So it's just arbitrary static call. So it's pretty protected. So we just make a view calculation on the smart Solidity side. Yeah. It will be pretty useful for some custom interactions, for something like auction, for example, based on the limit order. When you need to specify the price, depends on the amount that you have in this limit order. Or for example, when you need to specify the price for some NFT or something like that with custom predicates. And yeah. Let's talk a bit about maker address as a smart contract. Basically, I already told that sometimes your signature can be not only signature signed by some user, some wallet. It can be just some data with the hash that you need to pass to your smart contract, to your maker address as a smart contract. And this smart contract needs to implement a function called isValidSignature. And just that's like how the basic example of it, how you can do this. You can just get all the data about this order and validate it for your reason. Yeah, basically that's pretty customizable. You can use, but it's very specific use cases. Just want to mention that it's possible. and interaction. Yeah, basically allows us to make to call a specific function, custom function called notify fill order. It will be called before transfer from of maker funds. And basically, you can use interaction for any custom transfer of funds from the maker side. And also, it will be taken. The part of the prices will be taken from the maker side. If something will happen in this action, the taker must be ensured that it's okay for taker to call this custom interaction. Yeah, basically that's it. There is a great documentation on the left. It's a quick start where you can try limit orders from JavaScript side if you want to integrate it on this part. And there is also a lot of details how it's implemented on the Solidity side on the right. There is a GitHub with all the tests. So it can be pretty useful for you if you want to build something based on limit order and participate in Solidity part. Yeah. Basically, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Where to take this history of orders for after filling?
Actually, you have an API for limit orders. Yeah, that's it. Here you are. Here we have limit orders API, where you can get a limit orders history.
Indent parts.
Yeah.
And figure out which one we need.
Sorry?
And I mean, get all limit orders, figure out which we need, which is profitable, and execute them.
Yeah, you basically can just get as much limit orders as you want in our database, and just based on it, actually try to understand which one is suitable for you and which are not. There are multiple parameters you can specify here. You can sort it by maker asset. Like you can specify some specific assets that you need. For example, you want to arbitrage or like to trade for specific tokens. Yeah.
Okay.
Where can I find examples of a Solidity smart contract interacting on-chain with Orange?
Actually, it's a good question.
I've been trying it for a while and I couldn't find anything.
I think the best way right now will be maybe to try to see it on Etherscan, some custom functions. There are some filters for the call data for this limit order.
Yeah, so I found that and then I looked at the docs. You need to put it in it's a lot of the Uniswap, the one integrated contracts, so using the Uniswap function.
It's actually, we also integrate limit order in our Pathfinder, like in our aggregation protocol. So basically, sometimes when you just make a swap, like in this party, we just execute some other limit orders. Some guys, for example, they create a limit order, and some guys want to swap. So basically, the guy who wants to swap is market taker for the guy who is making limit order.
Okay.
So we do implement it on our side. We also use liquidity from the limit order protocol for our aggregation protocol.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the parameters is pools, for example, which is a bias 32. Then in the docs it says check the tests for this.
Okay, can you just specify it on Discord? I think I will answer about the pools parameter.
On the 1inch Discord?
Yeah.
For this hackathon, that Discord or like the total 1inch Discord?
You can just 1inch hackathon Discord. This hackathon Discord, yeah.
Wait, within this hackathon Discord? Or?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
ECC had easy E-Rage on it.
Yeah. So basically that's it. We do support multiple networks. We don't support test nets, but I do recommend to test your solution on some of the mainnet networks. Basically, some of them are so cheap that it's just testnet, almost testnet. It's just like incentivized testnet. So basically, I do recommend to do this on some mainnets. Everything will be working much more as expected there. You always can use hard hats locally for the smart contracts to test them.
Why don't make it for some test nets like Rinky-By work?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. On
I think there is no specific reason for that because it's will be very unpredicted, not the same behavior as. Because limit order and swap API, it's not only about tech side, it's about economical side.
Yeah.
And it will be not working as predicted. And
the same pools.
yeah, the security model and all of that will be not working as expected. And it will be absolutely different to develop it on the testnet and on the mainnet. So usually it will be so unpredicted that you can't basically do this on the testnets.
So people just make like a local fork of mainnet or something like that?
Yeah, kind of it. Yeah, basically you can do everything by using local environment if you're just developing that. And when you're almost ready to release it, it's much more better to use some mainnet. It's just like $10. Yeah. So I think that's it. I will be happy to answer any questions on the Discord. You can follow me on Twitter if you like it. To get some feedback, you can provide me feedback anywhere. Actually, I'm on Telegram. I am on Discord. Yeah, I will be trying to be here for like at least 1 hour maybe. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.